You think you hate it now, but wait till you drive it.
The Kibbe and Friends Show.
What it is, bro?
Featuring Rob Kibbe.
I don't know how to put this, but I'm kind of a big deal.
Justin Corn Dog Cornette.
New guy's in the corner puking his guts out.
And show producer Bernie McPartland.
This is the DJ 3000, and it has 3 distinct varieties of inane chatter.
Talking cars.
Do you feel this vehicle is safe for highway travel?
Yes, I do.
Diving deep on the topics that matter most.
Just when I think you couldn't possibly be any dumber, you go and do something like this.
And totally redeem yourself!
And the Dukes of Hazzard. Available in iTunes, Stitcher, and whatever else it is you listen on.
Turn up the volume.
The Kibbe and Friends Show.
Kibbe and Friends Show, episode number 130. Available in iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Instagram, YouTube. Nah, it's not on YouTube. It should be on YouTube. It will be. Are you still there, Bernie? Still?
I'm not on YouTube, but I'm here. Absolutely.
And Patreon. I'm still in my wind-up here. Bernie is, of course, on his meds. We'll get back to the Patreon discussion. I am Rob Kibbe. Here with me is co-host Justin Cornette. And out of the hospital room is our intrepid producer, Bernie McPartland. If you're not on Patreon, you maybe not out of the loop, but you just haven't heard the whole story yet. We did our whole Patreon show for November with our man Bernie in the hospital. This is not a bit. It's not a joke. He really went to the hospital. You're not going to die. Well, we're all going to die, but are you going to die soon? Sooner than you had planned, Bernie. How are you doing?
You know, I'm doing really well, and thank you, everybody, for your thoughts and the messages that I've been getting. Thank you so much. What turned into an early find is turning into a pretty good heal so far. It's going to take a little while, but we're on the way. Things are looking up. I had a checkup today and another one with another doc tomorrow for a different part of what was going on. Well, right now, feeling good. I'm almost back to solid food again. Had shreds of boiled chicken tonight. Yum, yum.
Good. Did you have a Thanksgiving cup of nothing then? Or what did you... Broth? Or did you watch others eat?
Yeah, this timing was absolutely lousy, as most things in my life are. But we had already had plans to go to a steakhouse for Thanksgiving because nobody wants to cook in the family anymore. Can't blame them. It's not the cooking, it's the cleaning up. You know, all the ladies are going amen right now. So we had reservations at a steakhouse, so we went ahead and went through with that so everybody else could eat. And I sat there and I had my half of a baked potato and a little small glass of iced tea. Had everybody else's smells, and bless my wife, she took her fork and kind of dipped it into the soft part of the pecan pie. Right. And so I got just a little taste of that, and that was dessert. And I was good. I'm good. Hey, Christmas is coming.
Oh, man.
You're going to make up for it now, aren't you?
Poor sap. I'm so sorry. How awful to go to a steakhouse on Thanksgiving when you're starving. Did we say what it is? Diverticulitis? Did I remember that right?
That's correct. Diverticulitis and a micro tear in the colon down there is what they said. There's another word for it, but just itty bitty little abrasions. So the medications are working. That seems to be healing up nicely. So just follow-ups and going slowly. That's what it is right now.
How much weight have you lost?
8 pounds, baby. You should see me in a thong.
Boy.
Got your 6-pack back, huh?
We're down from a 12-pack down to about an 8-pack now. So,
just like Batman, I got an extra ab just for 9-pack. Well, what will cure you most, Bernie, is a regular format, non-deviated show, right? Bunch of car stuff, then we go to a bunch of nonsense stuff, and then we end with a Dukes of Hazzard review. Would that help you if we just stuck to the plan?
I've been waiting for this for weeks. For weeks, I tell you. I've been waiting. I'm probably going to blame some of this on you because we've been deviating from the format, and that's why we're here today.
Good.
Dang you.
Well, on that note, it is December.
That big greasy hamburger that you sent us a picture of just prior to going to the hospital, that didn't have anything to do with it?
They said, oddly enough, no, it didn't have anything to do with it.
Not true. It was the 15 others. Maybe that one didn't do it.
Maybe.
No way. I've seen what you eat.
That was an awesome looking burger.
Colon blow the burger. Well, it is December. It is my favorite time of year, so I thought I would just quickly, I'm not deviating from format,
Here comes Santa Claus.
but I would like to know, just off the top of your guys' head, what is your favorite guilty pleasure nostalgic Christmas show to binge on? Now, Corn Dog, I know you don't have cable or satellite anymore. You've totally cut the cord.
Yep.
I have old man cable. Like when we moved, we actually got such a deal on cable that I went from DirecTV back to cable. Well, I will probably cut the cord in the next 6 months when the deal ends, if they won't renew. But because I have old man cable, I have so many channels, and they're all just so nostalgic for me. So here's some of my top ones. I would love to hear you guys. But Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, I saw that was on CBS last night. I recorded it. Charlie Brown Christmas, of course. Every time Christmas Vacation comes on with Chevy Chase, I watch it. No matter where it is, I watch it till the end. A Christmas Story, of course, Ralphie. A Christmas Eve, that's kind of a tradition. Elf is always great. Finnegan loved the movie Scrooged. I've seen that a few times. Usually I see that right around Christmas time, but what do you guys have as far as your favorites?
My go-to is always Christmas Story. I know TBS,
Ralphie?
TBS shows it like for 24 hours straight or something like that. But somehow or another, I wound up with a DVD of the Christmas Story. I think it was a Dirty Santa gift. And I was like, yeah, that's an awesome gift. And so I've got it on DVD. And then, like you said, the Chevy Chase Lampoons.
Christmas Vacation,
yeah. I wanted to say Vegas Vacation or something, but yeah, that one's always a great one. Like you said, if you're flipping through the channels and it's on, it doesn't matter what part of the movie you're in, you got to stop and watch it.
Christmas Collectibles has my mom used to collect those houses that you put the little light bulb in the back. Sometimes it would be a church or a barn dance or something. Department 56, I think, is the company that makes most of those, or Snow Village, and they have Chevy Chase's house. They have his garage. They have the Uncle Eddie's RV. Yeah. It's like $300, which is another great one. But how about you, Bernie? Yeah, what are your favorites?
Christmas Vacation.
That's your favorite?
Charlie Brown Christmas. And those alternate between first place. I have the DVD for both of those. And you guys missed the greatest Christmas movie of all. I'm disappointed.
Santa Claus?
Nope.
With Tim Allen?
Nope.
Oh, that's one we see a lot.
Miracle on 34th.
Good, but not the top.
The one with
oh, come on.
Jimmy
Die Hard.
Stewart?
Die Hard.
Oh, Die Hard. Oh, okay.
Ding, 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 ding.
That's right.
He had that smirk on his face. I can tell it was a questionable Christmas movie.
So I was smirking you the answer.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, we don't need to start the annual debate that it is a Christmas movie, of course. That's not a debate. But how cheery you are at the end, kind of interesting. I can't wait for my kids to see that movie. One of my best friends from high school, he texted me the night, like he let his oldest watch that movie. He goes, I've been waiting all my life for this. Yippee-ki-yay, mother. It was so great. Okay, now that we have covered Bernie and we know where everybody stands on Christmas, we would love to hear where you stand on Christmas. And let's go ahead and get to some news. And the news is brought to you by Aluma Trailers, proud supporter of all the shows on the Muscle Car Place Network and proud maker of, you guessed it, aluminum trailers. I know I've shared on the Muscle Car Place. I can't recall if I've shared here, but this company was founded by a dude in Iowa who worked for Winnebago RV, working with aluminum. I don't know if it was a bet. I don't know if it was a happy Saturday afternoon bet with his buddies or what, but he made them a trailer for a golf cart. I think it was his golf cart. A whole company started around somebody solving a problem just for themselves. Today, that's become a pretty big company. They make really good quality, really well-priced, long-lasting, great-looking, lightweight aluminum trailers. Not just for cars, but they do, of course, do for cars, and that's what we're the most interested in here, but also toys. Treat yourself to some Christmas gift of trailers. Mention us when you call, or go to alumaklm.com. That's the website. Hope you find something good. I'll be heading up there. Well, I talked to the lady today, maybe next week. And I'm going to 2 facilities.
I knew you were supposed to go. I was going to ask if you had gone yet.
They have two facilities, one where they make the open trailers and one where they make the enclosed. And they're probably about 40 minutes apart. I actually was going up tomorrow. And then there's a person who is out of town. And that has been my biggest battle, is finding the right person there at the right place at the right time. I'm really looking forward to it. Somehow I got to get a trailer deal in here. A demo unit would be fine. I just want to pull one. I would really like to.
Prototype, whatever.
Prototype. I want the new Streamline. Anything. That would be good. But yeah, lumaklm.com. Bernie, what do you got in the news here? What's happening? Is it something on impeachment?
Absolutely not.
Great. Thank you.
Man, I turn that stuff off. I have enough negative, and we all do in our lives, don't we? I just need a break. I just turn it off. Maybe once a week I'll catch up on it, just see what's going on. But for the most part of it, it's in that category of what can I do about it? Not really anything.
Let me get you up to speed on it real quick. Just here's everything you need to know.
The evidence is uncontradicted that the president used taxpayer dollars to ask the Ukrainians to help him cheat an election.
California congressman or I don't even remember the guy's name.
If I were the Trump campaign, I would play that over and over and over and over.
Everybody, if I were his campaign manager, I'd play that over and over again. There's 2 billionaires running for president right now. That's who it's going to come down to, probably, right? Or this guy.
Mr. Trumpet.
You can relate to this guy.
The evidence is uncontradicted that the president used taxpayer dollars to ask the Ukrainians to help him cheat an election.
Oh, at least it doesn't hurt anymore to laugh.
Remember, that's the news. Like real news, not what we do. Actual
That's what's going on these days.
news.
Oh.
Okay, so Bernie, what's really in the news?
All right. Financial and ratings agency Fitch says auto sales are on track for the biggest fall since 2008. Also, the year of the worst modern SEMA on record, as I recall. And some of the reasons for that, well, in part, some of the trade war with China. Orders for cars coming from the mainland have, they say, dropped 11%. So not as many cars coming over the pond there. German Audi is also cutting over 7,500 jobs over a period coming up. And plus, you and I, we're hanging on to cars longer as a whole and buying used ones, as we've always been doing like that. And I can't blame it. I mean, with the exception of that we've covered this here before many times, Challenger, Mustang, and the Camaro. Kids today aren't growing up with cars that they really want. It's just a bunch of gray boxes going down the road. It's no surprise to me that, the youth aren't getting their license because there's so much, and they look like appliances. Why wouldn't they treat them like that? So I think that's some of it. But now let's balance that. In my town, I see a lot of dealer tags still on new pickup trucks, SUVs. I guess that's what we're going to. And I still see a lot of them. So I don't know how founded that is, if they're just talking about cars in general, if they're just talking about little gray sedans and that sort of thing. But, they're talking about almost 750,000 less cars in this quarter since this time last year. That's a big jump.
I have read several contradictory things, including this morning, about industry auto sales and industry future and forecasts. The one that sticks out in my mind is Daimler. How do you say it? Daimler? Daimler. Okay. Daimler, and then other automakers, I think Volkswagen maybe is one of them. They are doing some layoffs, not immediate layoffs. They're staggering them over the next couple of years to do a reduction in overall cost. And in this particular article for Daimler was to devote those resources, money, cash, towards more electric vehicle development. I think everybody at this point has acquiesced and said, this is it. It's not if, it's when. So we have to have a full-blown plan to compete in the electric vehicle industry, and we have to maybe have that sooner than we had thought. The Tesla gaffe that was the Tesla truck recent, I mean, we can all point and laugh at that, but 10 years from now, 20 years from now, I have no idea what the future looks like for cool cars. What I do know is I'm still surprised that we still, in this day and age, right now in 2019, we went to the SEMA show, and who had the coolest booth? Dodge, right? Mopar. And what did they had? They had wheelie poppin' Challengers. And that's a 20-year-old basically platform, the Challenger, the Charger. That dates back to the Daimler days, right? That's an E-Class car of some of its roots. And today, it's the heyday for guys like us. We enjoy it. Holy cow, 700 horsepower. How wide did you want them tires? 315's not enough. 590s all around. But we're not the masses. We're the niches. Right? Yes. We're the special little piece inside. So
also, too, if you think about it, people may not be buying as many cars because have you looked at the prices of them? I mean, a nice truck, just your typical pickup truck, is $50,000-$60,000 easy. It wasn't too terribly long ago. A nice truck was $25,000. It's crazy what they cost now.
I have a friend, he was one of the smart guys from college. I never got an interview with an OEM because they had grade point requirements just for the interviews. But he did. He made that cut. He's an engineer for Ford, always has been. At that time, in the late 90s, early 2000s, the profit margin was in the trucks. There wasn't money in cars. They were more expensive to make, more complex. The money was to be made in the trucks. Still seems true.
Well, I thought about that too, because Corn Dog, to your point, SUV and a truck is 40, 50, 60 grand. And being an avid fan of The Price is Right, every day they're giving away cars, $16,000, $17,000, $18,000. Something easily affordable by the masses. And traffic is not getting any better, not where I live. It's getting worse every day. There's no room to get on the freeway hardly anymore. God help you if you drop a cylinder, you can't get on the freeway. Good Lord. So I don't know. It depends on how you read it. It's stats. Twist it the way you want, I guess.
Did you say every day you watch The Price is Right?
Every day. If I don't watch it, I tape it just to see the showcases.
That is adorable. That is.
Thank you.
I was actually at home sick one day, and I saw Price is Right was on, and I saw they gave away a Ferrari. I'm like, what in the world, a Ferrari on The Price is Right?
Yeah,
I think it was a once in a blue moon thing, but normally it was Camrys, Corollas, Accords, but then a Ferrari? Really?
Yeah, that was Dream Car Week. I forgot exactly when that was, but you're right. Normally it's the 1.6 liter with continuously variable transmission and floor mats included.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Price is Right forever, but I do remember it being on the summertime when I was a kid. California emissions. They all had California emissions.
Yeah.
I remember thinking, who the hell cares? What's a California emission? Different world now.
Well, somebody who is shopping for a car will be Cincinnati Reds starting pitcher Trevor Bauer. Last week, he was commuting down in the Houston area. A tire fell off of a semi-truck, rolled across 6 lanes of traffic on a direct and vengeful path towards Bauer. The tire hit the retaining wall and crashed into his 2016 McLaren 650S. That's now in the impound yard. What do those run? 250, 300 grand for a McLaren?
Well, I was just test driving one last week, and I forgot to ask the sticker price.
At your local dealership.
I actually saw one last weekend. We went to Kansas City it ended up being more of a family reunion, but a Christmas trip. My son and I were dropping off my wife, daughter, so they could go shopping, and we were at the Kansas City Plaza. And we didn't go in a single store, but we did cruise the cars. We saw a DeLorean, a 66 Mustang, 2 Lambos, and a McLaren. I have several pictures of McLaren.
There's a McLaren dealership in Houston. I think there's one in North Dallas and up in this area someplace. I'm not exactly sure where it is. I think I've seen it. Your next trip down, we'll go.
I'm not knocking that they're nice cars. I'm sure they are. It doesn't do anything.
Tires.
They don't do anything for me. You know what? I'd probably drive one and totally have a change of heart. But I saw David Freiberger post some things from the, what was the event over in Saudi Arabia? I didn't want to go sell a car, so that was my only way to go, and I said no. That event was interesting, and he had made a post on Instagram about all these beautiful cars and some exotics, and he said, they're amazing things. They're just not my thing. I completely relate to that. I would much rather see the old iron wheel, I guess.
No cup holder for the 44-ouncer. Is that it?
Well, not in the old cars either, but that's why you customize them. Put those cup holders back in.
Well, November 30th, 2013, we lost Fast and Furious star Paul Walker. He was a young, tender 40. What a tragic loss. Birthdays this past week or so. Britney Spears, 38. Lucy Liu, 41.
Lucy Liu. Wow. Wasn't she in the Charlie's Angels movies that did well?
I believe she was. She was also, I think, in the Kill Bill series.
Oh, yeah. She was in the Kill Bill series. She was also on like Ally McBeal, maybe. I guess I know a lot about Lucy Liu.
Apparently.
My point was Charlie's Angels did not do well, the new one. That was my point. This is a pop culture show. Cars and pop culture, right? That's how we get paid.
Jim to the left. What's that poster back there, huh? Can't see it. All right. That's all I got, fellers. That's it.
Okay, that's pretty good news. I do have some Patreon news for you. If you are one of our Patreon supporters, you heard in the Patreon show that our November prize giveaway was actually 2 prizes. One was a drum roll here, Bernie, in the edit. Kibby and Friends, Generally Orange, Code 70, right? Corn dog?
Yep.
Tumbler, as made by our man Nathan Warren of Warren Customs. This is a custom cup made by a custom man with custom paint and stickers and everything. And the winner is Anthony, I think, Kobilius? I've contacted him. He's good to go.
He didn't tell you? You got to pronounce his name?
He didn't.
He spelled it out.
You know, a few people have, and like I have done a good job getting none of them right. Just reading them as is. But Anthony had written in, because when we put out the post, you got to say if you want it and if you want to be entered. And he said, I am glad that Bernie is home. Get well soon, my man. I looked at the cup a few weeks back with my dad, and we were totally drooling over them. So I looked through all the entries and selected him. I verified real quick with Nathan Warren that he had not already purchased one, and he had not, so he is our winner. So that was
way to go, Anthony.
Yeah.
Hey.
Cool. A heartfelt request grabbed my attention. Rooting for our man Bernie. The second prize is the Christmas Cars movie, the new John Schneider movie, which we will be reviewing. And if all goes well, we will be interviewing John Schneider. He's booked for the show. Hopefully that works out, but we're good to go. Corn Dog and I will do that again, just like we did the first one. And we're going to talk about Christmas Cars. We want to know why, how did he get basically the generally in there, and is he doing so illegally? I kind of hope he is. But I ordered a couple copies so we can review it ourselves, and one more for a Patreon member. And I'm pleased to announce another drum roll here. Garrett Daniels is the winner of the Christmas Cars DVD. So they are coming. I got notice today that they're all coming, and Garrett won because this was his post. Now, the last guy had a heartfelt request, but something else that pleases me is clever smack talk. I just really like it. And Garrett says, and it's not over the top. It's very subtle. Okay. It says, feel better, Bernie, but feel even better if I win this prize. Your man, Garrett. Isn't that good?
Man, I just went up a notch right there. Absolutely.
It's hard to do smack talk without swearing, but he did it. Way to go. Way to go. Those are the 2 prizes come out this month. If you are on Patreon and you just heard your name, good to go. I did check with Anthony, just to make sure he didn't buy one. That'd be a bummer.
2-for-1 deal.
Don't give out too many, right? But
he won another prize too,
What was that?
Didn't get his name all butchered.
Thank you, Bernie. Glad you are on the mend.
He's back to his old self.
Back to perfect health. Give me the doctor's name.
Well, barely knew her.
Barely knew her, yes.
Healer.
Speaking of Patreon, wanted to run something by you guys. What would you think about using some of our Patreon money this month to do a donation to Toys for Tots?
That is awesome. Are we buying Hot Wheels to stay in the theme?
If we actually donate physical goods, yeah, we can choose whatever we want, or we can just give cash. I apologize for doing this on air here with you, but I just kind of want to run it by you and just see what you thought. If we get more patrons or more sponsors and everything like that, we could absolutely use every dime we raise this month to put more in there. But I was just kind of thinking, Toys for Tots, the old standard. It's based in the Marine Corps, I believe, isn't it?
Yes.
Real neat thing. Yeah, if you're not yet on Patreon and you want to be, we'll put your money to good use this month. Won't just be for Corn Dog's car habit and my kids,
whatever.
Needing to eat. We do a neat thing at my church. It's called The Perfect Gift. It's just totally open to the community, and it's 100% free. One of the things we do there is Christmas wrapping room, and any kid from anywhere can go in there and wraps a gift. There are lots of gifts that have been put in there. They can choose anything they want for their whole family. For some of them, that's the only gift they're going to be able to give. And for kids, it's not having the toy that makes them light up. It's the fact that somebody got them one. I guess I kind of wanted us to do something like that. So if you're not on Patreon yet, kick in this month. You can quit next month. Right? We'll put it to good use. That is the news, both past and present here. What do we got up next here? Oh, we're going to talk about 2020 goals. And our 2020 goals section is presented, of course, by Wyotech. Maybe you have a goal for a new career in 2020 in the trades, and Wyotech is the educational institution that teaches just that. Not only automobile repair, but collision repair, diesel technicians, restoration, hot rodding, upholstery, and they do that for a pretty intensive Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, 9-month-long program. I am going to have one of their diesel coordinators on Muscle Car Place, I believe this week. You won't hear it this week. But to talk about the diesel industry specifically, over-the-road diesel, in my opinion, is probably going to be the last place of internal combustion. But that's probably going to be the case for the next 30, 40 years. I don't know if he'll have knowledge of the electric component of it, but I wanted to ask him about that too. But this is a guy that deals with students every day. I want to know what their life is like. So we're going to be doing that. If that's something you want to get interested in, just go check out episode 405 of Muscle Car Place. That's a really neat school. It's back in the hands of a former student. It's really cool that they're supporting us, and mention us when you call them there for information. Even if you just get information, just mention the show here. So some 2020 goals. I have 2 goals, one of which has been a goal forever. I'm committing to finally getting it done in 2020. I want to go to stunt driving school. I've wanted to go to stunt driving school for years. And I want to go to Bobby Orr's stunt driving school because he's Bobby Orr. I want to see that happen in 2020.
I know of at least 4 years you've mentioned that as a goal at the end of the year for the next year. At least 4.
That's what sucks is like I try to set goals that some of which are a bit of a reach, some of which are very attainable, so you can check the box. And then some that are just, not that they're impossible, but they're improbable. They're hard to do and really kick ass when you hit them every now and then. And that has always kind of been in the kick ass category. Like, I'm not going to be a stunt driver. I'm not going into the movies. I'd have no intention of doing that. But I really, genuinely would like to know how to do some of that stuff. And more so, I was talking to you about this, Corn Dog. Pretty much after every show, we talk to each other while I'm driving home. Right? Yeah. And just to know some of the skills, some of the tricks of the trade, some of the ways that they look for their shot when they're doing a slide to know where to land the car. I just want to know what that is. I really want to know. Yeah. Do you know people who've gone through that school? I mean, there's other schools out there. I really want Bobby Orr's, though. I've been reading at it for years. I mean, he did the 2 wheels with the General Lee in the movie and everything. He taught everybody. That's the one I want.
I don't really know of anybody that went through it with that specific school, but I know people who have gone through a stunt driving school. I know Bobby Orr, he worked with Sean William Scott for the movie and got him prepared so that he could do a lot of the driving scenes. And he was a pretty good driver. He was able to do a lot of things with the cars to where they could actually get a good shot of him driving and not have to do CGI and all that kind of stuff. So I think it'd be great to do that. It'd be fun. Like you said, it's not something that you have to have or a career change or anything, but it'd be fun just to do it.
I mean, I also want to go to like a Bondurant racing school. I mean, I want to, go to rally school. There's so many schools I want to go to, but at 44 years old, this is still the top of the list for me. I want to slide and I want to drift and I want to jump. Aren't they still using that whole fleet of red Escorts?
They've been using the little ZX2s and Crown Vics. And they did have seemed like it was early 90s, 94, 5, 6 Mustangs as well. But yeah, I think they're still on the same fleet. They've probably gone through numerous sets of tires.
Oh yeah, tires, brakes, I'm sure. That would be a really cool one. So that's kind of goal number 1. Goal number 2 is Kibby Lee related. These are sub goals of Kibby Lee. So here's sub goal number 1 of Kibby Lee. I do want to do that drift video with Taylor Hull. That's going to happen. Goal number 2, though, with Kibby Lee, I think before the year is over, for tax purposes, I need to buy a 496 stroker kit.
Anyway, before this year's over, 2020 is over.
No, well, before this year's over, and then I can enjoy it in 2020 again for tax reasons.
Right.
Well, you want to be able to get your tax return to the post office on time. How else are you going to do it without that?
Stunt driving and a hot rod.
I'm a self-employed man.
You need all the breaks you can get. Absolutely.
I live in the world of a profit and loss. And what I'm telling you is a way to take a loss is to make an expenditure that you're going to use for business reasons. You can't see air quotes on audio. That's what's so great about it. But 440 Source has several different 496 stroker kits. And I was reading up in the Auto Trader commercial. Corn Dog didn't one of those generally. Wasn't that a 496 stroker?
Yeah, it was. That was, I forget the number off the top of my head. I want to say it was SGL3, if I'm not mistaken. When I was there on the location, that car drove by and it sounded pretty stout. You could tell it was a hot rod. And then they popped the hood and I didn't know exactly what it was, but you could look at it and see that it's a big block, but I knew it had to be some kind of stroker kit in it and pretty stout.
Now you're saying kit. Is this also available in a crate? Because I don't think you're thinking big enough. If it comes in a crate, get the crate, then you've got a spare and an extra tax write-off.
In all seriousness, I can't answer that question. The company I'm referring to is 440 Source, and they have a website. It's a kind of an old-fashioned looking website, but they have a million different offerings. Sticking with the General Lee theme here, I got a 383 in my car, and the hero car on the Dukes that we've been replicating here, that's a 383 car. Well, the 496 stroker kit is a stroked out 383. It's a different crank and it's punched out as well. Different crank, different pistons, different rods. It's all pre-balanced. It is that. It is a kit. They also make their own set of aluminum heads, which I would probably consider. It would just work out perfect. I'd run the wind intake, the Holley, fuel injection system that I've been wanting to. It would work out awesome. I don't know anybody there. I don't know anybody that's done this, other than what I've read. I don't think it's a coincidence that a 496 stroker General Lee was at the Auto Trader commercial. Was that the one that also had the shock towers cut out and coilovers on it? Was that a jump car?
No, it was a stunt driving car. It was actually a pretty decent car to begin with. It's actually the one that did a lot of the sliding around and everything, and it's the one that took out the fence and had a fence post dent in the quarter panel. I don't know if you remember that on the passenger side.
Yeah.
And then the owner repaired it, even though I told him not to. I was like, dude, just leave it alone. You don't know what that dent's for, because at the time, the commercial hadn't even aired yet. But anyways.
You talked to that guy too?
Yeah.
Let me guess. The car stayed at your house?
No.
They all do. Right.
No, I've only had...
Wait, you were there?
Yeah, I was there on the Auto Trader commercial.
Why did I forget that? Okay, so you're...
Yeah, that was right after our first interview. You interviewed me, and then it was the same day that picture of the 18-wheeler with 3 or 4 General Lees and a couple Chargers. It hit Facebook and went everywhere, all over Facebook, and you interviewed me about, I think it was, the movie cars.
Yeah,
and then
it's all coming back to me. I remember everything now. Yep, I apologize. I had a small brain fart.
And it was the following weekend, I went down there just on a whim, just trying to find where they were, and worked my way onto a quote-unquote, there you go, quotation marks, closed set. So I was there. Took 356 pictures and thought I was going to lose every last one of them. Right after I snapped the last one, the lady comes up to me and says, "Who are you with?" I was like, I'm just here by myself.
Motor Trend.
I need you to sign this.
Just say Motor Trend. Always say Motor Trend.
Well, I had a Mopar Collector's Guide shirt on, and I was like, and I had been talking with the guys at Mopar Collector's Guide, and so they said, if you can get anything, let us know. So I was like, yeah, I'm here with Mopar Collector's Guide. Well, I don't know who that is. I need you to sign something that says you won't release your pictures or anything. And I thought she was going to take my memory card, but I freaked out for a little minute.
Then posted every single one of them on Facebook, of course.
No, I posted about 30 of them.
That's why you fired Mike and took over right there.
Yep.
That amazing little pull. Tell me about one of the jump cars.
Play like you're supposed to be there. That's the thing.
Goal number 3 is I do want to jump the car.
Your car.
Yeah, I do.
Or a car.
I would build another one if I could. But here's more criteria. It can't be a Crown Vic. I don't want to rebody another car. It has to be a B-body Mopar, preferably a Charger. But we could do what we have also discussed, which is rebody another B-body Mopar.
Make it like a stadium truck?
Kind of. A 6 to 8 foot jump, right? That's what we're talking about. We're not talking about leaping barns or anything like that. I'm just talking pretty healthy ramp to ground type jumps.
So you want to go to ground, not ramp to ramp?
No, ramp to ground. It's got to be ramp to ground. It doesn't count.
Hey, you know what? Bo's Extravaganza is coming up. I bet you he will let you bring your car down there and you can jump your car.
Well, if I were going to his event, I'd jump his car.
Okay. Well, it's going to be a Crown Vic. You said you didn't want to do a Crown Vic.
No, he's got a Charger. A real one.
He's not going to do that one. He'll do another Crown Vic, I bet. If he jumps again, I bet he will.
Yeah, can't do yours. You don't want to ride the bus home.
Maybe
you do. I don't know.
This is going somewhere. We're going to do something that others have not done. We're actually going to for real jump Mopars, and they're not going to die.
And they're not starting out as rusted up, hacked together cars with
no.
stop sign floor panels.
No, that's not what we're doing. Those are my goals. Mock me if you will. But dreaming big gets you far in life. Dreaming small gets you about the same.
So after you jump it, you're going to take it back to Nathan, let him repair it?
Well, if he would like to, it's up to him. That's his call.
He's like, all that hard work and it's gone.
I feel like Nathan is in support of this. I haven't asked him about it, but I feel like
he'll have his Fall Guy truck there and jump in as well.
Nathan, just get an Illuma trailer and pull it up there and just be ready. That way all your plans are made.
That lightweight trailer would serve him well. It really would.
Yes, it would.
Here's my other goal for the show. Franklin Jones Jr., the audio production guy from the Dukes of Hazzard. He is snowing me 6 ways from Sunday. I have tried the last resort of LinkedIn.
Have you tried MySpace?
No, it's not on MySpace. The website is gone. I have done some serious stalking here. I'm not proud of it, but I just want to talk to the guy because his name is on every single episode of the Dukes of Hazzard. I know he's the right guy to tell me what the generally sound effects are. We're going to have that in our Dukes of Hazzard review. I actually pulled some more audio in this one, but that's my other 2020 goal. So to recap, 2020 goals. Stunt driving school. We can all go. This isn't just for me. Kibby Lee goals. This is just for me. The 496 stroker. The drift video. Well, we'll all be in the drift video. That's not just for me. Jumping the car. And assuming I do a good job of it, I guess you guys can jump it too. But if you keep making fun of me about it, then you can't. And then
Not making fun.
And then Franklin Jones Jr., production man who will finally tell us what the generally sound effects were. That concludes 2020 goals presented by Wyotech.
Good job.
Thanks.
I just want to get my car back in one piece again.
You're generally, and I saw your post 20 years ago. Was it like 2 days ago?
December 1st.
Your car took its last flight? Took its first flight and last flight, maybe.
Yeah, I think that was the last time that car moved under its own power. And even then, it was like, it was popping and spitting and just, it was barely running then.
That was for the second Dukes of Hazzard television reunion movie.
Correct. Hazzard in Hollywood. Craig Baxley Jr. jumped it.
Yeah. And I'm sure I've asked you this question, but that was a neat thing you had mentioned, even in your Facebook post, like Craig Baxley Jr. jumped it 21 years earlier. His father jumped the first one.
Right.
Was there really no hope of a true Hollywood production, even in the late 90s?
No, I've got, we discussed on the last time we interviewed John Schneider. Mm-hmm. I told him, hey, I've got a copy of your home video. And he was kind of like, okay, that's kind of odd, but he didn't even have a copy of it anymore. But he's walking around and I need to figure out a way to either get it to him and let him produce it, or, I'll probably do snips of it or whatever. He's walking around, he's talking to Guy Waldron's there, and Guy Waldron clearly says this is the last one, and this is the last time General Lee's going to fly. So I don't think they had any intentions of there ever being anything after that 2000 reunion movie. Guy Waldron also said, he quoted Tom Wopat, he said, but never say never. So
never say never.
And that was another thing is when I got the car, I thought, okay, well, let me figure out a date. Okay, December 1st, 2019 will be 20 years. That'd be kind of cool to say, hey, I'm through with the car. Do some kind of unveiling or whatever,
You could jump it.
And
Right?
And shut it back down again for another 20 years.
Watch this.
Hey, y'all, watch this.
But yeah, so, the progress on the car has, just life gets in the way and things slow you down. And so I haven't been able to make as much progress on it as I hoped. So I would like to say that I could at least get the sheet metal work done in 2020, because sometimes I only have an hour here, 2 hours there, or whatever to get out here and do stuff. And so grafting a complete front end from another car onto this car, make sure it's square, do the same thing on the back half, that's a lot of work. Once I get the rolling shell done, I'm not going to do a crazy, super slick paint job. It's going to be pretty much kind of like it was. It's not going to be straight as an arrow and, slick paint. It'll be orange peeled and whatever.
The interesting thing is here is you are a professional auto repair technician. I mean, you can do all this work. This is totally in your wheelhouse. You can pull this off, but you have a job and a family and responsibilities. And we're recording this on a Tuesday night instead of a Monday night because your daughter had a basketball game last night. I mean, we have all worked so flexibly to make this show work. Sometimes we do it. Usually it's a Monday. Sometimes it's a Tuesday. Sometimes it's a Sunday night because that's what we can do.
Sometimes it's at a hospital.
Sometimes it's at a hospital. Great example. What a good pull. What a random good example. That's just life in general. But for your general, that's why it's so hard to get that thing back together. It needs a lot. I mean, it's a tall order to put the Humpty Dumpty back together again.
And it doesn't bother me. I'm thinking, well, it's just work. So I'm not scared of doing it. It's just trying to find the time to do it. And the thing is, that's the point. I've got pretty much everything I need for it. I've got all the wiring I need for it. I've got all the interior I need for it, minus, I've got carpet too. I've got pretty much everything that I need for the car. It's just trying to find the time to do it. So
now, do you, when you come home, Corn Dog, do you drive up in the driveway? Do you walk through this immaculate shop of yours, or do you miss the barn and go to the house first?
No, I go to the house first. My house is, it's probably close to 200 feet in front of my shop.
Okay, well, my idea was sunk then. I thought, well, gee, you drive up into the driveway, you're already dirty, you're already got stuff in your hair anyway, your hat's already messed up. Walk through the barn, do 10 minutes worth of something to the car every night when you get home, 5 days a week. And in 70, 80 years, you're done.
I always get stuck doing homework duty. That's always fun.
That's better anyway. That's good stuff.
I need to figure a way to get my daughter out here so that I can help her with homework while I'm working on the car.
There you go. What you need is a garage sale. Get one of those overhead projectors. Maybe they call them opaque projectors. You put the book down and it shows the paper up on the wall, right?
Yep.
Got it? So she's putting her math problems up there. You're helping her and you're sanding away.
There you go.
Awesome.
If she wants to work on that car with him, she's going to learn some math skills.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
I don't work a tape measure.
Yeah, you'll get very good at fractions.
Yes.
Very, very good. Well, it is probably time for us to get the Dukes of Hazzard review.
Just a good old boy, never meaning no harm.
And Holly is, of course, bringing us the Dukes of Hazzard review. I'm going somewhere with this one. Holly is the official air and fuel delivery system of the Muscle Car Place Podcast Network, right? Granted, we all know that.
Yes.
Old news, wonderful news, but we all know it. Now, in this day and age, Bernie, Holly does not just mean carburetors. It means fuel injection, MSD ignition, NOS, nitrous, not NOS, NOS nitrous, hooker headers, race pack dashes, crazy awesome events like LS Fest, Ford Intergalactic Fest. But this very episode of the Dukes of Hazzard features a central component around the thing we all knew Holly for first, carburetors.
Carbs.
Listen in on this episode, and we're going to hear all about that. And by the way, Holly just happens to have up to 20% off orders right now through December 31st. It's a holiday treat. So if you want to get yourself something because nobody else did, do so. And you can wait until after Christmas. And when you make your order, tell them that we sent you, as did Daisy Duke. Again, as you will learn in this episode. Just tell them Daisy Duke. Hopefully they'll tie that back to our show. Not a joke. Please do tell them about us. That's mission critical. We're supposed to make sure we tell you to do that every time. But again, no fooling, Holly.com. And that's not Holly like Christmas Holly. That's Holley. Haha.
That's right.
Okay.
And these are the holidays, right?
It's the best. They got Santa Claus out there ripping up in the Malibu. They got the reindeer, who I know. He's a friend of mine. He's a cool guy.
They're awesome. Yeah.
This is Season 4, Episode 25. Miss Tri-Counties is the title. Written by William Rayner and Miles Wilder. Directed by Paul Baxley, so you know it will be good. Here is the summary on IMDb. Corruption runs amok in the Miss Tri-Counties pageant when Boss Hogg accepts a $10,000 payoff to rig the contest in favor of Hatchapee County entrant Melanie Dubois. Bo and Luke foil Boss and the other county bosses at every turn as the contestants are unfairly tilted against pageant favorite Daisy, but those efforts are easy compared to saving Daisy from a brutal fate when two thugs kidnap her before the final swimsuit competition. Okay, would you like to hear my summary?
Is it shorter?
I feel it's better. I don't know that it's shorter.
Okay.
Hazzard County has a TNA contest for women. And by TNA, I mean, of course, transmissions and alternators. What were you thinking?
I didn't see an alternator.
It's in there
Alternator.
The plot of this episode, Bernie, features a competition where good-looking women rebuild carburetors, race cars, and then wear swimsuits. This is heaven on earth. Can you imagine what Holly, the official air and fuel delivery of the Kibbe and Friends show and the Muscle Car Place Network as a whole, could do with a modern-day version of this event? Like LS Fest or Ford Intergalactic Fest. I'm just saying they have they have a pretty good venue for it. In this episode, just like in the movie Ford versus Ferrari, during the race scene where the bad guy car passes the good guy car or vice versa, and the two drivers look at each other, that happens in this episode when Daisy and the General Lee passes Melanie Dubois in Cooter Chevelle. That's right. I said Cooter Chevelle. More on that later. That is everything you need to know about this episode. Chicks wear swimsuits, fix cars, and race them. Good job, Robin.
Good job.
I'm very pleased with my episode.
The Academy Award goes to
me. Season 4 has a few stellarly good episodes and a lot of boring ones. But I'm putting this up there as a stellar one. This is a really, really good episode. Lots of great action. Not just women, but great driving action, amazing driving action in some cases. It's pretty awesome. Corn Dog, before I get into all my interesting tidbits, I would love to know what you think about this one. Is this one of your favorites? I had not seen this one forever, but I did not realize how good it was until I rewatched it.
It's been a while since I've seen this one, like you said, and I forgot how good it was, too. I even forgot that Cooter's Chevelle came back.
So did I. And it is unchanged.
Yeah, it's the exact same car. And if you actually look at it, pay attention to the actual car itself, it's faded. So you could tell it's been sitting up for a little while. So I don't know if you picked up on that, but it was pretty weathered. One thing I noticed, too, that I really didn't remember about the episode is, I don't know if you picked up on it, but like the second unit, when they were doing drive-bys and all that, they were hauling butt on. Normally, they're going pretty quick and they'll slide it around. But on this one, everybody had the pedal down to the floor. You could tell they didn't speed up the film or anything.
No.
They were hauling butt on this episode. I like that. I like the episode. One thing I pointed out or I noticed was the carburetors were thermoquads. They probably came off of police cars or something, because they were the old plastic body carburetors. I like the episode. It was a good episode.
I did want to touch on the Cooter Chevelle's component here a little bit, and then I just had a lot of facts I pulled out of this one, but Cooter Chevelle, we saw this car in Season 3, Episode 13. That episode was Duke versus Duke, and that's where Bo and Luke have to race each other. Bo drives the General Lee, Luke drives the Chevelle. They tie in that episode because they are equals. They do so with the Chevelle going forward and the General Lee going backward in that episode. Nathan Warren of Warren Customs, producer of Kibbe and Friends Tumblers, he loves this car. This is his favorite car. Until he had told me, like the Hero car, there are a few different Chevelles, but the Hero Chevelle has rounded out rear wheel wells. Fender flares, I guess I should say. Not like a standard Chevelle. And I don't know 68, 69 Chevelles like I do the earlier ones, but he's absolutely right. That's the coolest thing. I totally forgot that car. I didn't even remember that being in this episode. I remembered seeing it again in Season 5 when Bo and Luke return. and they end up racing some NASCAR driver named Petey Willis in it. But by that point, I remembered it being silver.
Right.
And in that episode, the car dies. So that was really cool to see this time around. Here's some facts that I pulled out here for you. Nielsen ratings. So I went and got all the Nielsen ratings for all 7 seasons of the Dukes of Hazzard. Here's a little bit of study on how Nielsen ratings works. It's very hard to take Nielsen ratings from the 80s and compare them today because we have many more channels today, and it's somewhat of a percentage game. But this should give you a good idea of how many people are actually watching. So instead of saying it had a 4 share and a rating or something like that, I pulled a stat that also would give you the true estimated number of viewers actually watching that program at that time. So in 1979, Dukes of Hazzard was a half-season show. It was getting 21 million viewers. Now, overall Nielsen ratings for the year, it was number 20, but it had 21 million viewers. Its second season, first full season, 79 to 80, it had 18.4 million viewers. It was the number 9 show in the country. Its third season was the biggest it ever got as far as ratings. It was number 2 in the country, almost 22 million viewers of every episode. 22 million viewers. Mm-hmm. To put that in context today, Saturday Night Live gets about 9 million viewers, to give you some context. Saturday Night Live is Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
Right? And Dukes of Hazzard was over double that, almost 2.5 times that. Season 4, which is what we're reviewing right now, it was still the number 6 show in the country, with 18.4 million viewers. Season 5, when it goes in the freaking tank, it goes from number 6 to number 34 of overall TV shows. Interestingly enough, though, 17.2 million. So they only lost 1.2 million viewers. Didn't expect that. Season 6, they lost another 800,000 viewers, down to 16.4 million. They're the 36th show. They didn't really rebound by having Bo and Luke come back. The damage seemed to have been done, but it was still a money-making machine, a high-profit show. They did get a season 7. It wasn't that bad. It was the worst season of all for viewers, but 13.8 million, number 41 show overall. So season 4 here is their second highest season, second most popular. This is a really, really solid episode. And somewhere during season 4, I believe, it got down to the 7 o'clock hour. And that may be why we don't see bikinis in this episode. Really. It may be why we see, one-piece bathing suits now at this point, because it's now even earlier, because it started when in Central Time, it probably aired for me as a 9 o'clock show, then went to 8 o'clock, then went to 7. And by 7, that's really when it is for the elementary school kids like I was.
There was a bona fide thing called the family hour back in those days, where it was kind of an unwritten rule between the networks that you would keep it cleaner and, be more aware of things like that. Then, as you're aware, then 8 o'clock, a little more, then 9 o'clock, a little more, and then the late night shows after that. So that's a real thing. That's a real stat. That's cool.
About when was it that cable really started to take off? Because I know at first you had 3 or 4 channels or whatever, and you didn't really have a whole lot to choose from. But at some point, I don't really remember when we got cable. I remember as a kid seeing, the HBO. I remember the whatever that little logo thing that they had spinning around or whatever. But I don't really remember about what time cable came out, really.
First time I had cable was 1983 in college. First time I'd ever seen cable.
I think that's about when we got it as well. I was still in elementary school. This show was still in the air. I remember the little box that you set on top of your TV with the dial knob on it. That's the cable box, right? That's the real box.
You mentioned, them losing like 1 million viewers, only 1 million viewers, had a big drop. I almost wonder if that may have been cable had something to do with that.
It very well could have. I don't know what modern day TV show. I should have gone and pulled something like that. But I thought Saturday Night Live, more of a
cult classic,
an industry staple. I mean, everybody still today knows what that is. Even if you're not a regular viewer, it's not even close, right? So that's an interesting component of all of this. Cooter is wearing an Atlanta Falcons hat in this episode. I saw it go by.
That's the first time you see that hat.
Yeah. I saw it at the beginning, like, that looks like a Falcons hat. Like, that is a Falcons hat. I can't believe that. Melanie Dubois. I looked up the actress. She was in a few things, and she kind of disappeared after, the 80s TV shows were all over. My youngest daughter, Noelle, pouts just like this chick. When she's mad, she will like kick a wall and huff and puff. And it that honestly kind of cracked me up. The in-car action of John Schneider driving and sliding cars around.
I love that footage.
Go watch this episode. It's at the 26:15 mark. You'll get it twice. It's bitchin'.
It's a shot from the passenger seat.
Yes, looking
of the car.
Passenger seat, looking directly left, and you see how John sits, and he must drive right-handed pretty heavily, or he was like holding himself up, like with his left hand, like out the window or something like that.
You can tell he was working it too, because he was sliding around.
It's really cool. I pause, watch, pause, watch, pause, watch. It occurred to me that his hair. I was kind of curious when this was shot, what order this was shot, because his hair looks very different than the last episode.
I meant to check on that just to see how close it was to being filmed to Duke versus Duke, so that, for the Chevelle reason, to see how long that car, sat, really.
I mean, we're in the second half of season 4 for sure. It's a wide push bar light interior generally, although I saw backup lights several times.
Yeah.
So it kind of makes me think it was an earlier version.
That's what I was thinking.
That. For people who like The Office, Jim Halpert might be your guy. Jim Halpert has Bo Duke hair. I also figured that out in this episode. Paul Baxley directing. Again, I had a lot of facts on this episode. I watched this. So that's why you got all the crazy action. One of Paul Baxley's trademarks of showing speed on film is dirt, debris, leaves, stuff on the road, so that when the car goes by, it leaves a cloud of something.
Yeah.
And when they're driving around, basically being chased by Sheriff Little, that's when you get all the cool stuff of John, in the car, drifting it around. There's a scene where it generally comes flying around the corner, and Tom Wopat, who you can clearly see is Tom Wopat, starts climbing out, and that car still is hauling ass. And it was just one more awesome shot. Like, yes, I love that they did this stuff, and it looks so cool when he did that. When the generally goes on 2 wheels, it's a single exhaust car. You can clearly see it's got to be a 318. I pulled some audio out when the car was really running hard. I think this is real field audio. I don't think this is, gypped in something from a race car. I was going to play this one for you. It makes more sense when you see it, but every rev you see is when the car is heading up into a component of the road. So it would be where a person would get on it harder, if they're trying to do like a stunt driver and always have it sliding or something like that.
Yeah. And they're manually shifting the automatic, so they're throwing it down into second or whatever so that they can get those higher RPM torque band. And
that doesn't sound like any of the sound effects we normally associate with generally. That's something that's kind of screaming. This other one is kind of back when John Schneider is drifting around. You're in a town scene and the car is coming at you, and you just kind of hear it making more normal sounds. I'll try to play this one. This is a little harder to hear.
The boys kept...
I'll play it again.
That one sounded fairly bone stock Mopar. Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of like those mixes in here.
Yeah.
More cool things in here. So anyway, this is a beauty pageant where they also... Wait, no, that's not right. This is a car driving, race car fixing pageant where they also wear swimsuits. But there is at least one inappropriate comment in here right at the end when the third competitor, whose name I don't know and is unimportant, crashes.
Oh, I can tell you exactly who that is.
Oh, what's her name?
The Luann Millsap chick. That's Kay Kimler. She's Daisy's stunt double throughout the entire series. Every time you see
that's really
Daisy
her?
driving, every time you see Daisy driving her Jeep or riding on a horse or whatever, that's Kay Kimler. She played a lot of roles. You remember the episode where I think it was Bo and Luke or whoever stopped the car, and it was the wrong car, and it had Jack Gill as a priest, and it had a nun.
Yeah.
In the passenger seat, that was Kay Kimler was the nun in the passenger seat with Jack Gill. She's a stunt woman, and I think she worked the entire series as Kathy's stunt double.
Oh, well, that would explain why she was cheering for Daisy to win the swimsuit competition.
There you go.
Even after she had lost. But when she wrecked her car, she did get the Whalen treatment.
Now, ain't that just like a woman checking her hair first?
Can't do that anymore. And we won't play it again. We're already iffy on where we are right now. I totally forgot something in here Did you realize that Boss Hogg is like a clean energy entrepreneur?
With the solar power stuff.
I don't remember this at all as a kid, but this is a major component of the episode. The reason he's doing this bribe to let this other lady win, he's an inventor.
Oh, you ain't getting one thin dime. I ain't. No, sirree, Bob. Not yet, anyhow. Because first, I need every penny of this here little amount to develop and build my solar-powered steel.
Solar-powered steel?
Mm-hmm.
Are you kidding me? There ain't no such thing as no solar-powered steel.
Don't you know what solar means?
Well,
from the sun. Don't you get it? Them little solar cells?
Oh, that one.
Yeah, that's it. Sunshine makes moonshine makes moon.
I love it.
And no ashes to haul.
No.
Yeah, no smoke. Smoke so the revenuers can see it or nothing like that.
Listen, I'll tell you something. That is foolproof.
That's the free market.
Wow.
Even Boss Hogg will go green to make green.
Sunshine makes moonshine.
I would have bet money there was no reference like that in this episode, but until I watched it again, I'd never caught that before. How clever.
Yeah.
Well, that's great stuff. Then there's also the scene in here where Daisy's first competition is to rebuild the carburetor, which she wins, but it's tampered with. She can't see what she's doing. Luckily, Luke had taught her how to do it blindfolded because in the Marines, that is standard issue in the Marines to know how to rebuild a carburetor in the dark.
Yeah.
That was the only kind of BS line in there. Like, I have some friends who are Marines, and they've done a lot of amazing things, but I'm sure that was not part of the training. No.
In case the tank breaks down.
Yeah.
Overall, man,
hold on, guys. Hold on.
What do you got?
It's medication time. You get to see this live.
Oh, my gosh.
Hi, guys.
Thank you, wife nurse.
Hello.
This is
what do we have?
No fooling.
Oh.
Real time.
Antibiotic.
Oh, we have the little yellow one, and we have the horse-like white one.
Are those Flintstone vitamins?
Is that apple juice?
They are not, but maybe next time. And a little made for Tots apple juice, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, that's going to go down nice.
For the grown men in my life.
Yes.
Nice.
Thank you, nurse wife.
You betcha.
That was wonderful and right on time. You guys talk amongst yourselves, and I'll go ahead and self-medicate.
Oh, man.
Down the hatch, baby.
For all those listening,
chug.
Our producer, who is the best in the business, and we put out a lot of content, is taking his pills with apple juice.
40% less sugar.
Corn Dog, what's your rating of this show? How many of yourselves do you give for this episode?
8.5.
8.5. That's a pretty solid rating for you.
I like anytime you get the car race in there, I always like when Paul Baxley or any of the Baxleys direct it because it's going to be good stunts, fast driving. So I usually like those pretty well.
I'm going to give this a 9.5 because as I watched this episode and after I did the research on the Nielsen ratings, which is a happy coincidence and kind of saw that maybe this is when they shifted to 7 o'clock, this episode, this style format where it's funny, where there's lots of action, and where it's really pretty tame, that was the memory that was just embedded in me seeing this show the first time around as a kid. That's still how I think of it today.
Another thing too is, you mentioned possibly this is when they moved to 7 o'clock. Earlier in the episode, when the Jim Higgins guy, he threatens hurting the Dukes.
Mm-hmm.
Boss Hogg, he actually says, well, I don't want to get anybody hurt. I just, don't want them to show up or something. They've mentioned that before in interviews in the past that, Boss Hogg was really, even though he was like against the Dukes, he was always kind of didn't want anything bad to happen to him. So I thought that was interesting that he actually mentioned that.
I really enjoyed this episode. I loved all the action scenes. Seeing John drift that car around from the inside was cool. Genuinely cool. Bernie, I don't know if you saw it, but do you have a rating system of your own?
Well, unfortunately, I was disposed and couldn't watch it, but I knew you were going to give it a high rating just by the comments before you started the review. I knew you were 9+ right then, so 9.5. I was kind of expecting a 10.
I don't know. I feel like I've been doing too many 10s when I'm super excited.
It was that Marine quote that brought it down.
That was the one like, damn it. The Marines are... Come on. That's what the Marines practice. My dad listens to these episodes, so he will not remember this, but I remember him at one point wanting to make a point of emphasis of how to do something. And he said, well, that's how we did it in the Navy. And what I was doing at the time was trying to find a leak in the trunk of my Chevelle. And it matters not.
Throw the car overboard and find the leak.
It doesn't matter how I was trying to find the leak. The fact of the matter is, Dad, you weren't chasing leaky trunks in the Navy. You weren't. Okay? You were not. Just tell me you want me to do it your way. I will.
What did I tell you to do? Dip it in the lake? And just see where it leaks?
No, it was just like, well, get in the trunk and then we have somebody with a hose. That's how we did it in the Navy. I remember responding, that's how you fix leaky car trunks in the Navy? And like, never mind. It stuck out in my mind. Okay, so that's our review for this episode. This was another fun episode to do. Going back to the Toys for Tots thing, that's no fooling. We would like to support that. So just go to patreon.com/KF show. We'll make sure that all new contributions that come in head that way this month. And, we'll chat internally about how much else we can do. It's a cool thing. We'd like to make sure that kids get something fun to open this year. And that's a really good program to do it. Bella, is there anything else we need to cover today?
Good. Don't know of anything.
Okay. Well, everybody, thank you for listening. Thanks for supporting us. Make sure that you support Wyotech, Holly, and Illuma. Make sure that you tell them we sent you. And we will be back next week. See you later, fellas.
Later.
Bye-bye.
See you guys.
Now, the general ain't racing, and he ain't chasing, but he's sure burning rubber. He's trying to get to the biggest cultural event in Hazzard, the finals of the first annual Tri-County Beauty, Talent, and Mechanicals Aptitude Contest. And Daisy is entered, if she can get there on time.
What makes you so all-fired sure I'm gonna win anyhow?
Daisy, look, there's two reasons. First of all, talent here in these parts doesn't mean twirling the baton or pounding on the piano. It means fixing and racing cars. And second of all, there ain't no girl here in Hazzard County, or the other two counties for that matter, that can do either of those things as good as you can.
Well and well, as I live and breathe, it's Big Jim Mathers of Hanson Peak County. Ain't seen you in a hound's age.
Oh, sure we have. Just the other day.
But you zip up.
I'd like to introduce you all to Miss Melanie Dupois.
Oh, well, I sure am pleased to meet you, honey. All right.
Her entry form?
Yes, you sure filled out your form, didn't you, honey?
Got a well-filled-out form.
Here, just ring this thing up.
Oh, ring this up here. Now, just slip that in there.
That's it. All right, there it is. Oh, would you stop punching that thing? Now then, you are officially entered in the competition.
Yeah.
Competition? From around here? Don't make me laugh.
All right, you got it?
10,000 in large bills.
Yes.
And 10,000 reasons, Hog, to break every bone in your little fat body if my Miss Melanie don't win this competition.
But there ain't no way that she can lose. No, I mean, the only one around here to even be in the running is local gal, Daisy Duke. And I fixed it so that she can't even enter.
Well, you better have, Hog. Because if you don't keep that Duke gal out of Miss Melanie's hair, I will.
Big Jim means business. He'd send his mama to prison if he thought he had a chance of getting them license plates for free.
Oh, you ain't getting one thin dime.
I ain't.
No sirree, Bob.
No.
Not yet, anyhow.
No.
Because first, I need every penny of this here little amount to develop and build my solar-powered steel.
Solar power steel?
Mm-hmm.
Are you kidding me? There ain't no such thing as no solar powered steel.
Don't you know what solar means?
Well,
from the sun. Don't you get it? Them little solar cells?
Oh, that one.
Yeah, that's it. Sunshine makes moonshine makes money. And no ashes to haul.
No.
Yeah, no smoke. Smoke so the revenuers can see it or nothing like that.
Listen, I'll tell you something. That is foolproof. All right. Wait a minute. Daisy Duke, you cheated. Ain't no way anybody could put a carburetor like that together again so fast. Under the circumstances.
You mean because the light in my booth wasn't working, huh, boss?
Oh, it wasn't?
Lucky Luke showed me how to do it blindfolded.
That's a fact. Standard procedure in the Marines, be able to disassemble and reassemble a carbine blindfolded.
Well, carbines and carburetors. Hey, everybody.
The boys kept circling the town. Now, ain't that just like a woman? checking her hair first. That's how Daisy Duke became the first and probably the last Miss Tri-Counties, which meant the 4-H Club got the $500 that she promised. Big Tim took the $10,000 back, which threw old boss into a near-terminal funk.
Good news, Eddie, bad buddy. Cool's got a surprise.
Which means that he got hungrier than normal. Of course, Roscoe came to the rescue there. Sort of. And Daisy won the contest as the best all-around gal in 3 counties. Shoot, I could have told the man.